Donk Nation, Jax and Janet's greetings and welcome to Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey. We're still going to call it Steelers Talk, but it's a Super Bowl breakdown. We got Blaskers, we got Gingy. I promised, I delivered. Let's start it off by letting the gents have a little bit of a moment here. We'll start with Blaskers. What's exciting for them going into the Super Bowl? We got the Eagles, we got the Chiefs, but does that even matter? We have Kendrick Lamar as the halftime. Me there?
Yes, you are correct.
Gingy in the house? Hell yeah. Laskers, you want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah. I got nothing exciting about this Super Bowl. I mean, I guess, seeing what Saquon can do, I guess, is my excitement. But hopefully the commercials are good.
Dude, if it's nonstop lovey-dovey save the world commercials again, I'm gonna cry. Cause man, last year there's like two good commercials the whole time. Gingy!
Oh, commercials sucked last year.
Yeah, we are, I don't know. I'm interested in whether we're going to have a true dynasty, three-peat, legendary type status for Patrick Mahomes. I'm interested in what we're going to see. This thing with the Kansas City Chiefs and favoritism from the NFL and the referees is getting loud.
Dude,
this is a mainstream. This is
media coverage now.
That's what I'm saying. This isn't just a football issue anymore. This is getting like mainstream media coverage. Even non-football fans are aware of this at this point, and it's getting between that and Taylor Swift, that's gonna be some premium content right there.
I got one thing to chime in real quick. Is Taylor Swift going to get more coverage, or is Donald Trump going to get more coverage? Because Trump's supposed to be there.
Oh God, Swifties and Trumpies going at it. This really is going to be the most watched event of the year, huh? They should sit them opposite sides of the field and give them binoculars so they can stare at each other. Dude, just sell tickets to all the Trumpers and all the Swifties. We'll double the Super Bowl watch parties. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I heard today that like the cheapest ticket was $26,000.
I had to sell two of my cars.
None of us can afford that.
That is seriously. Can someone just like steal me a ticket and let me sell that baby on Ticketmaster? My God, that's gingy. Whew. We gotta do like a Ocean's 11 or something just to get a couple Super Bowl tickets to sell them babies.
Yeah, seriously, right? I hear you, donkey. We $26,000 though. I mean, what do you think this is? This is Super Bowl, donkey. These are all comped. These are all corporate sponsored giveaways. These are meet and greets, donkey. How many average people? How many of those tickets do you think are corpo versus average people buying these tickets? What, 70-30?
There's so much that's given every year in a lottery to the teams that win, right? The teams that get there, their season ticket holders get a chance to a lottery, right? To buy at face value. So there's that many. So when we take out however many each are given, then the NFL 1,000-ish they gift away. The answer is the remaining after those three numbers are added together.
So
That's too much math. Yeah, that's too much math for me.
It's more so I just don't know the number of tickets that are guaranteed.
It's a lot.
I would do it for you, but I just don't know the amount that's guaranteed to each Super Bowl team because, Steelers haven't been there in a long time, so chances of the Donkey family ever getting a chance to buy one is remotely getting slim.
Just so you know, I can tell you how much it cost the last time the Steelers were in the Super Bowl.
What, like $200?
No, it was $2,600 a ticket.
The
same person.
Missing a zero.
Only 10 times,
The same person that told me the ticket prices for this one is the same one that told me the ticket prices for when we were in Detroit.
That's why Laskers is on top of that stuff, because, he's got insider sources. We like it here. We got like the Jerry Dulac level of insider sources, ones who have actually nothing to do with the team, and we don't know where they got their, information from, but they give us information and we use it, right? Just like Gary Dulac did with the whole Russell Wilson drama that's been going on. Which, do either of you want to touch that or just leave it till the offseason?
We'll wait till he's fired.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
All
that
right,
play
Trump.
out a little bit. That's too fresh. That's very fresh.
You gotta shake it off, all right? I gotta keep it even here.
No.
You Trump line.
No.
I got you Swifty line,
No.
okay? We gotta stay neutral in this
No.
show, okay?
Dislike.
Gingy!
What? I didn't say anything.
This is divulged into.
Moving on.
I tried to keep, just so everyone out there is clear. I tried to keep us on track by having the mayhem happen before the show, but I did a terrible job of it. I should absolutely be fired from this. Gingy, do we want to go ahead and try to break down what we think is going to happen in this exhibition? Let's not call it a football game because halftime's super long. In between warm-ups and actually getting on the field is super long. This is an exhibition. Both of these teams, though, have recently played in this exhibition, so they both know how to prep for it. Do you think this is going to be a good football game and maybe a little bit higher quality of product coming out of both halves, early punches, due to the fact that both of these teams have been there, done that, and know what's going on?
That's not entirely out of the question. Donkey I think that makes perfect sense. Both of these teams been there recently, know what they're doing. I mean, the pandemonium around the Chiefs, though. I mean, those folks seem to soak that right in. They're very vetted to this. Thinking about, guys there for the first time, like Saquon, perhaps. He can really make or break that game on both ways, right? In terms of putting points on the board, explosive plays, forcing Kansas City to account for him, everything else. But if that guy has the jitters, that could be a problem.
Man, if this is what scares me, if that guy has the jitters, let's say he does, and you could be absolutely right. Dude, is there a better receiving, like top two receivers mixed with a tight end combo in football than what the frickin' Eagles are able to put out there? As a run-first football team, they have just absolute studs everywhere, Laskers. How?
Well, they spent some money in the offseason. That's how.
Like
but,
3 off seasons ago, but yeah, I got your point.
Yeah. Well, Saquon was last offseason, but
we're ignoring Saquon right now, okay? 'Cause we're pretending he got the jitters, okay?
Yeah, that Philly team, they look dangerous. That's for certain. And the NFL is all scripted anyhow, so I think this is gonna be no, Gingy. I'm not going any more into this. I'm not saying who's gonna win.
Here we go.
I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a close game. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I believe that entirely. Well, I mean, scripted for what? For entertainment purposes?
Yep.
I mean, how deep do you go on this? Or is it scripted for DraftKings profits?
It could be, but it's definitely scripted for entertainment because you gotta make that money on the TV.
See, there's a lot of different ways.
Partnering with the NFL, essentially two of the odds-on favorites making the Super Bowl. Gingy is diving deep into the rabbit hole of was this all based on bookies?
You see what I'm saying? They're setting up a grand arc with Kansas City, where Philly wins in a shocker by 3.
Oh my God!
And a whole lot of people lose a lot of money.
Explains why Josh Allen.
Wait! Hang on. Gingy, go bet on the Eagles winning by 3. You'll be a rich man.
I don't know. That mean as a psych person, right? That's probably how I'd play it out.
I have no idea how we ended up here, but I'm all for it.
Right. See, Donkey, here's how we ended up here. We're at the end of the postseason, right? We're at Super Bowl time, but we're all bordering on like nonsensical. You know what's coming up, Donk Nation, dude, right?
We passed that a while ago.
Are we doing nonsensical this offseason?
Well, we certainly are. And Gingy, the nonsensical started when anyone believed the Steelers had a chance in the playoffs. Okay, so we're past.
So what?
No,
week 10?
That was daily dose, baby. Let's go. Good one.
Lasker's
I'm thinking
go somewhere because I'm off the rails.
No, I'm
Early.
thinking week 10. Week 10, we were off the rails when we figured, we'll go deep in the playoffs.
Hey, I told
Hey, it
y'all
looked good at
Jack
week 10.
Wagons.
10-3 looked real solid.
I told y'all don't judge that team till that 3-game stretch in December, and y'all were trying to buy the hype, man.
Okay,
Never buy the
3-game
hype,
stretch
dude.
in December
You,
was
you
different than
don't-
the 5-game dip that they took in December.
dude.
Okay,
As a
Didn't have
stock
to lose
trader,
to Cincy.
man, you don't buy the peaks, bro. You buy the dips. Don't buy the peaks, bro. Buy the dips, because that's where the truth is.
I need to
Come
rewind
on.
the tape on the beginning of the season because I don't remember what I said, but I'm pretty certain I didn't predict us to even make the playoffs.
I said 9-8. I could guarantee you. Actually, I might have said 8-1. I might have predicted. No, I didn't predict a tie this year. I predicted 9-8. No ties this year. All
That's good.
Let's get
No ties.
Let's get back into talking. Let's start. I really want to start with the team that has a chance to be the dynasty of dynasties, do something never done in the NFL. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a Kansas City Chiefs team. Their wide receiving core is okay. It's starting to get healthy, which means you saw some guys out there, but they also lost Mecole Hardman, who had a huge touchdown last year. Their running game has been horrible, whether it's Kareem Hunt or Pacheco. You're talking what, like 3.7 yards a carry, the type of stuff that makes Najee blush. And that's because the offensive line has been beat up. All-pro former guard and Joe Tooney has to move outside the left tackle. Jawan Taylor, even though he still gets away with like 10 false starts a game or 5 plays where he lines up illegally, he still gets away with all that. He's not having a good year. But this Chiefs team, man, Patrick Mahomes just always seems to find Travis Kelce because for some reason, every freaking team in the NFL forgets that Travis Kelce's the guy you need to cover. Maybe the wide receivers out there. I mean, Worthy, the rookie from Texas, he's really explosive. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't had the greatest year, but he's a slow, steady presence that you throw the ball there, he's going to catch it. Even the backup tight end, Gray, has done some stuff. Juju Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown. When you look at this cast that the Chiefs put out there on offense, the line is kind of weak. The wide receivers are a bunch of B tier, C tier guys. The tight end is still, I guess you still have to call him great because that dude still finds a way to get open and do the things he does. It comes down to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are great, is what has really made this Chiefs team successful. Do you guys see that as the way the Chiefs push in this game, or do you see that as being the crutch that holds the Chiefs back in this game?
Gingy, you want to take it first, or
I'll take it. I'm saying that is the the leadership and the glue, right? Regardless of whether they play outstanding, or whether they play mid, or even if they're bad, I think that they're obviously the focal point and leaders in the locker room. That team overall. I think what matters more in this Super Bowl, to me, Donkey, would be that Kansas City defense and their ability to stop the run. I think that's what it comes down to.
That's a fair way to look at it.
Right? Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they're going to do what they're going to do, right? And Chiefs, they're so fluid. They play so well to the momentum of the game. It's almost like, you know how people say, "Oh, you can't flip it on and off like a switch." That's one of the teams that I've come closest to seeing flip it on and off like a switch.
Yeah.
It's uncanny. So, but I think that that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day is that Kansas City defense, more so than that offense.
That's absolutely fair. Laskers, what do you think about this Kansas City team that when we first watched Mahomes, it was all explosive plays, has now turned into the team that averages the most plays per touchdown drive on touchdown drives, the longest drives. It has now become the dink dunk will take what we give you offense. What you looking at with them, Laskers?
I mean, I agree with Gingy. I think for the Chiefs to win, the biggest thing is can they shut down their run? But your first question, when you asked originally, I really do think that it's more the crutch that will end up causing them to lose this game, because you can't just depend on one player. The Eagles are going to figure out how to shut down Kelsey, period.
Dude, everyone says that, and that mother lover goes off for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns every time someone says we know how to stop him. I don't
I understand it, but I think that somehow the Eagles are going to shut it down. And my stat for that is, and I don't remember exactly how many teams it is, but I'm just going to use 20 as my number because that's what I think I remember seeing. The last 20 teams that made the Super Bowl and were the last team to lose have not won. That's my stat for the Chiefs losing.
I can respect that absolutely. When we look at that Kansas City team, though, Gingy, you want to get into the defense, so we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the defensive side. They play a lot of leave their guys on an island type of defense, a lot of Chris Jones being the real interior pressure. They have a little bit on the outside and guys who can get a little bit of pressure out there too. But it's really a defense, I don't want to say devoid of, the big names, right? But that's the best way to put it. I know they have a couple corners on the outside. I know they have some dudes who have put up some great, great seasons, right? But man, I don't know about that defense being hard knocked in there. We've seen them have a great season. It feels like it's a team that the whole has been so much better than the parts. And when you play a team like Philly, where the parts over there are amazing, do you think that exposes this defense? Or do you think that some plays start being made by this defense that haven't been done all through the year in terms of explosiveness, really? Because they're just a solid unit where they don't really have a glaring weakness, but they don't have a glaring strength. So does Philly have a hard time planning on how to attack this Chiefs defense?
Oh boy, yeah. What you're gonna have to have is playmaking on the other side. You're talking about obviously a guy jumping, doing back hurdles and stuff, right? You see that?
Yeah,
I don't care what type of solid unit you got, right? That solid unit is going to be under duress when you got a guy playing like that. Excuse me. But yeah, solid. I feel like they're just a well coached unit. The perpetual bend but don't break, find the right timing, get the big third down sack. You mentioned Chris Jones in there. That's a big deal when it comes to setting the tone up front.
Yeah.
We're looking at overall. I think that defense is going to need to have some. Well, where do you think I'm going with this? Some splash plays.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. They're not. It's not going to be one that you can just ride out and just ride the storm your way through it. Like, you're going to have to do something. And if what I'm understanding is correct, that's what you're kind of alluding to, that they're overall a very solid unit, but they don't do anything outstanding per se.
No, I mean, you got Trent McDuffie on the outside. You got guys like Justin Reed at safety, Bolton in their middle linebacker. I mean, you have a lot of really solid players, but not, there's no Antonio Cromartie, like that guy who's just known to be that playmaker. McDuffie's more of that shutdown corner in the mold of like Ike Taylor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, Donkey. And they're going to have, I think, a bit more than that in order to be successful this weekend.
That's fair. Laskers, how you feeling the Chiefs' defense going out there?
I mean, I'm going to agree with you guys that they have to have some splash plays. I mean, you got to figure out how to shut down Saquon. If you can't figure that out, I'm sorry, your running backs just aren't going to put up the numbers that he is. I mean, vintage Pacheco, before he got injured, you'd be close.
Man, I honestly watched him run last year. I'm gonna tell you, there's no difference in the way he runs now. Like his time to the line and all that's the exact same. The biggest difference there, that offensive line is not near what it was his last 2 years ago, right? Because that'd be his last healthy season. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it definitely could be that, or maybe he's just not seeing the holes as well too.
No, he's not Najee Harris. Come on now.
Ouch.
Give him a little more than that. But yeah,
we all know Najee is probably going to the Chiefs. So
when I look at this team, Gingy, there's 3 guys that I'm looking for specifically that I think have to make plays for them to win this game. And it's someone on the outside. To me, it's going to be George Karlaftis, the defensive end. I think someone other than Chris Jones on that defensive line needs to step up and make a play. And then I really think that Philly's going to do their best to avoid Justin Reed and Trent McDuffie. That means Jalen Watson, and he's probably going to be matched up with Smith. That means Jalen Watson has to be that guy who comes up with a big play, in my opinion. To me, Jalen Watson is the guy who could make or really break it. And when you consider he's a guy who didn't have a single interception in the regular season, that's what I mean. He's a good corner, but he just doesn't, they just don't get their hands on the football. That's really what the problem with Chiefs is, I mean, even Justin Reed and McDuffie, they each have like 2 interceptions. There's just not that guy who goes out there and puts up those crazy turnover numbers. It's crazy to think how successful the Chiefs have been when they don't really force a whole heck of a lot in the turnover category.
It's true. Absolutely. I don't know how they win games, Donkey. That's why I said it's uncanny to me.
It's a team that is absolutely fundamentally greatly coached, right? It's Steve Spagnuolo who's the defensive coordinator, or no, that's offense coordinator, right? Steve Spagnuolo's offense. Who is their defensive coordinator?
I don't know.
But they just they go out there. Their coordinators just do such a great job of getting them prepared. They're one of the. I mean, look at this team and what they have been able to do. Things that have never been done. Going to 3 straight Super Bowls, getting in there, getting all that stuff ready to go. It's
Steve Spagnuolo is their defense.
Who's their defensive coordinator? Yeah, I just looked that
up.
Matthew
Nagy.
Right
Matthew Nagy.
Matt Nagy. Oh, the old Bears coach that failed out there. But that's Andy Reid's offense. That's not Matt Nagy's offense. Actually, I think he was with Andy Reid before he went to the Bears. That's a team that you have to put them in that New England thing, man. They're like Belichick. When you look at the pieces, they've become, to me, the Patriots, right? And I think this is fair to say. When you look at the pieces outside of a tight end, it's ironic how similar they are. Outside of a tight end and quarterback, look at those pieces and tell me which one of them's exceptional. Right? That's what we'd always say about the Patriots. Man, they have a really good defense, but you don't know anyone on it. Man, their offense gets the job done, but you have no idea how. This team has transformed themselves into that. Andy Reid's now that coach at the creme de la creme right now. Old wise guy who's got his veteranosity usage as knowing what to do, when to do it, has evolved to where this new iteration of what football is exactly what he is designed for. He gets a quarterback who couldn't be more perfectly on the same page as him. They run a team that it's a team, man. So many of these teams you look out there, it's individuals. Like you look at Baltimore, man, there's just a bunch of individuals making plays. You look at Buffalo, their offense is Josh Allen making plays. You look at Kansas City, it's a team. It's not one person who makes plays. It's the whole team that makes plays. When you look at that defense, it isn't one guy making the sack, a TJ Watt, a Myles Garrett, a Trey Hendrickson. It's not a single guy. It's every freaking member of that team. And I think potentially we're not talking about here, and I'll let you guys take over after this. What we're not talking about here, what makes Kansas City so great is that they are one of the few organizations that have been able to form not a coalition of players, but a football team.
Gingy,
Yeah,
let me
that's
take
really
this
great. All right, go for it, man.
So, Donkey is right. Matt Nagy did go with Andy Reid from Philly to Kansas City. Just want to chime in on that. And I 100% agree. They actually are a team. I mean, I don't think there's any other NFL team that you really could say is a team. Gingy, to you.
Yeah, I don't know how you follow that up. There's a couple of teams. They're going to be playing one that I think is a complete team on this week. That's why this is going to be such a good game. Both the teams. It feels like in the past. If you're thinking about revisiting the Super Bowls, all-star offenses. I think we see two good, really solid defenses going head-to-head with each other this year as well.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Gingy, I'm going to disagree with you because I am going to describe the Philadelphia Eagles in our transition to them as the greatest coalition of parts you will see in the NFL. They have a bunch of individual playmakers who make plays all the time. A coaching staff that doesn't know if they want to throw the ball or run the ball. People are getting mad at each other. A.J. Brown's reading books on the sideline, and that throws off the media because how dare he read a book during a football game? A.J. Brown's allegedly mad at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts wants to throw the ball more. But they run the ball. They push. Their defense is made up of absolute playmakers on every level, probably starting with, I believe it's Jalen Carter, right? The interior defensive lineman who is just get the hell out of his way or you're going to get eaten. Like, I believe he's the dude I watched pick up a 340-pound offensive lineman and push him back about 10 yards in the backfield in about half a second. One of the most impressive things I've ever seen done on a football field. This Eagles team, the talent on this roster, can you think of the last time you remember a team with this much individual talent on a field out there? I mean, the addition of Saquon to an already stacked offense that already had great offensive linemen, Jalen Carter type draft picks, add in a guy like Cooper DeJean. This team, Gingy, that roster stacked from top to bottom outside of maybe kicker. I mean, Elliott, right? Elliott might be the weakest link just for the simple fact that he's missed some kicks while this whole team is just star-studded. They get to a championship game, and they put up 55 freaking points, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
That, Gingy, tell me about them. Offense, defense, wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I'm looking at, what haven't we talked about yet? Philadelphia wide receivers. We've been pushing the run game, but even if that gets shut down, A.J. Brown, absolute
still a
horse.
Devontae Smith is still a great route runner.
Great number two. Could be probably a number one on the Steelers, but hey.
It could be. That's generous. You just made Pickens Day, by the way, by only saying could be. Just so we're clear.
It would probably would be. We're talking 70% there. But
70?
Yeah.
Jeez, you're not giving him enough credit.
Come on, Pickens is young. He has potential. If he'd straighten out his freaking attitude and stop pouting every other play, we might be able to see some increased production.
I mean,
we'll have plenty of time for that.
You also got Jahan Dotson, who's played pretty well in the slot. Dallas Goedert and both Grant Calcaterra both have played pretty solid at tight end. I mean, yeah. An offensive line of Malata, Dickerson, Juergens, Becton, Johnson. I mean, you're talking 3 Pro Bowlers and 2 guys who borderline have had Pro Bowl years in their career. Dude, that offense is.
Donkey, I gotta give Gingy some shit here. Gingy, you're teaching the college generation, and you're saying, he can mature and all that. Are you seeing that in the next generation that's younger than us? Because I'm not.
Hey, dude, it's about to. This is what I'm going to step up for Gingy here. Dude, he's about to have a contract here. You don't think that mother level wants some money? Let's go.
Money.
This is the year.
I'm going to say, if you're going to talk to college athletes right now, everybody talks.
No, I'm just talking.
All the way
I'm
from
not
D1 to
college
D3.
Athletes.
D1 to D3, everybody loves that portal. Everybody says they're going to go someplace else and do great. Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's about how sweet the perks are, how much money am I getting? Like,
side
yeah.
note, with all this money coming from outside sources, but NCAA saying they want to equalize spending between men and women's sports, do you see this NIL shit getting ugly? Just yes or no answer. Is NIL stuff about to get ugly in college sports? Yes or no, Laskers?
Yes.
It's been ugly. It's been ugly.
Yeah. Fair. All right, continue. Breaking down the Eagles or college sports, wherever the hell we ended up again. It's lost.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a culmination of a beautiful season of football.
Okay, we can say that, but man,
I'm missing it because it's the last Sunday of football for what? A million years, donkey. That's what it feels like to me. All right. I told you.
It's actually a pretty watchable product now, too, by the way. The UFL is actually pretty watchable. Their transparency with their officiating is so refreshing. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Watching a product that's just smooth and streamlined is, it's fun. I mean, I'm not saying it's good football. Don't get me wrong there. It's not good football, but it is football, and it's fun. Like, I was surprised that I didn't watch very many of the games, I'll be honest. But the few games I did tune into, like when it was a bad weather outside in the morning, because the games come on at like 8 a.m. for me. You watch a little bit of it. It was nice. It was cool to hear the officiating. It's cool to hear why the decisions are being made. You got to they interviewed the players on the field and the coaches on the field. They made it a lot more like a fan inclusive event than the NFL is, right? They made you more getting into the mindset of how things are done. And I thought that was really cool. Like they would mic up the coordinators in the booth and you'd hear the play calls and them talking to the quarterbacks. So a little bit entertaining, but we'll say that for nonsensical. But you're right, Gingy. Last football game. Let's give a great breakdown here. Let's break down that Philly offense. Man, you said it. The wide receivers, we're not talking about them. They've been good. Jalen Hurts has been a better quarterback than he's given credit for. The tush push is still mostly unstoppable. I mean, heck, they were almost given a touchdown without playing a play. Do you think that this Eagles offense, good offensive line, great running back, great receivers, good quarterback, good tight ends, do you think there's that team is to the point where they'll just exploit any defense, or do you think a good team unit like Kansas City can shut them down?
Everybody's beatable, donkey. I think a good unit can shut them down. You have to start. I mean, we're just on a broken record. That's why I'm talking about breakdown. You have to start with the run game, right? You have to force Jalen Hurts into a position where he's not at his strongest. And that is going to be outside of the option for him to bolt and really getting Philly off of their game, not letting them establish pace, condition, and for Philly on defense, being able to shut down Patrick Mahomes. Jeez Louise. Pressure up the middle. You really got to disrupt the timing of their offense and get those splash plays whenever you can get them. Don't let them get out ahead, donkey. If it's 10-0, if it's 10-3, you shouldn't let them spread out by more than a touchdown. They kick a field goal or whatever, but don't let them get ahead, donkey. That'd be bad news.
I hear you, and it starts for the Eagles stopping someone. It starts in the middle with those two big boys, man. You're talking Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, 340 pounds, 320 pounds. Those two dudes have been dominating the whole playoffs. They put teams in bad positions. But before I get to that, Laskers, you look at that Philly offense. Do you think Kansas City has a chance to stop them, or do you see this offense just, doing what they did the whole playoffs, man? Just running fools over and then throwing it over the top when they need to.
I mean, I do see there's a chance that they can stop them. It's going to come down to coverage and knowing what play they're going to call. If you're playing them throwing the ball and it's a Saquon run, Saquon's going to go for 10, 15, 20. I mean, you got to know what play they're going to call. Otherwise, you're not going to stop them.
Yeah, that's fair to say. You get to the defensive side of the ball. That's where you want to talk. I mean, Williams, Nolan Smith Jr., a guy who had a decent year, like 6.5 sacks. He's a pretty decent one. Clearly, it's the middle guys there though that are the big ones. But I mean, you're talking Smith, first round pick. Jalen Carter, first round pick. Jordan Davis, first round pick. But you want to know what's funnier about all those guys? They all went to the University of frickin' Georgia, dude. The whole damn Eagles defensive line almost is just the University of Georgia. Like that tells you something. I mean, damn Milton Williams is the one who screwed it up, man, being a third round pick and coming out of Louisiana Tech. Dude, why aren't you a first round pick out of Georgia? I mean, come on. It's crazy to see how such great individual talent has clearly been going through the SEC. Such great individual talent going strictly to Georgia up to Philadelphia has made just a monumental difference to this team. I mean, poor Devonta Smith has to feel like he's about to get his butt beat every time he goes out there to do scrimmage reps, man. I mean, the little Alabama kid has to go up against all these big old mean Georgia Bulldogs. I know there's no infighting in Philly, but that should be the reason right there, okay? Devonta Smith being an Alabama boy against the big boys on the D line should be the whole reason for infighting. But do I even need to break down like the rest of this defense, Gingy, or should I just stay at those four guys who have just dominated this year? Did I lose Gingy?
Well-rounded way that Patrick Mahomes spreads the ball around. Everybody has to be a contributor, Donkey. You're not going to be able to hide people from Kansas City. That's one of the things about them. They'll utilize the weakness, right? That's one of those ways that an offense that doesn't have any, superpowers per se to it, being able to analyze the other team's weaknesses and playing specifically against them. That's what they're going to do. So I don't think you can hide anybody, Donkey, on that Philly defense.
I guess since Philly, I think they technically run a 3-4, not a 4-3. It's not fair to call Nolan Smith a down lineman. He's an up lineman, just like Josh Sweat. But then they're two middle linebackers, Gingy, for your talk where you can't have anyone hidden. Dude, you get to the next level. Zach Bond was a guy who was talked about for Defensive Player of the Year with the season he had out there. Kid from Wisconsin. He like 151 combined tackles or something, a few forced fumbles, an interception, a few sacks. Like, that dude was absolutely stellar in the middle level. And when you get to the second level, I mean, Quinyon Mitchell had a heck of a season, a 12 pass defense, a first round pick rookie out there. Darius Slay, man, we all know what he could be. He can get a little handsy though, so maybe penalties could be a problem. But Slay, a great shutdown guy, although I don't think he had any interceptions this year. Reed Blankenship had a good year out there. CJ Gardner-Johnson is that name you talk about. CJ Gardner-Johnson is that guy who finds the football. I know you love Splash. So he's the guy you have to talk about, right? The guy who's absolutely on the football all the time, finds it. And then another rookie out there, a second-round draft pick, Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Man, the secondary is a lot more like Kansas City's, and there's not a lot of guys who made a lot of splash plays, right? But it's another unit that just, where's the weakness, right? That secondary is 1 to 3, like, the top 3 corners are all good. You could order Keeling Ringo is worthy of some playing time too. Their fourth corner. Their 2 safeties are good. I believe it's Mitchell's the backup safety there too. I'm thinking of Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown's a backup safety who saw some time this year who played pretty darn phenomenal. That's another, again, just coalition of star-studded players, Gingy. You look at this game on paper, if you were to just look at rosters, it again has to be plus Philadelphia on the roster makeup, right?
I believe so. Yes. What about you, Laskers?
Well, I agree. It's got to be plus Philly on this one.
And I'm going to tell you right now, my X factor for this game, because I think it will be determined really simple. Can Kansas City stop Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, specifically probably more so Jalen Carter, but Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis from just impacting the game and dominating the line of scrimmage. That to me, that's the matchup here. I don't know what you guys are looking at. I mean, there's a lot of good matchups, right? The mashup Kansas City wide receivers going against the can sometimes be too aggressive secondary in Philly. The Philadelphia offensive line getting pushed against probably what's the Chiefs' strength, the front seven of Kansas City. But to me, I think the Super Bowl winning thing, because I feel much like Tom Brady, the way you stop Patrick Mahomes is interior pressure without needing to blitz. If Kansas City cannot stop Philadelphia from getting interior pressure without the need to blitz, I think it's going to be a long day for the Chiefs' kingdom.
That's probably true, Donkey. You gotta shut it down somewhere. Or if it does, I mean, if they are going to blitz, what are they going to do?
Well, the thing is, Patrick Mahomes has seen it, done it, knows it. He even tells you that. If you have to blitz, that's when you can get exploited, right? That's when Xavier Worthy might get a one-on-one matchup with his speed on the outside. That's where you might get Kelsey left alone for that 12-yard in-cut slant, right? So if they have to bring pressure, that opens up the avenues for Kansas City to exploit it. And more importantly, when you blitz, no one's watching the quarterback. Underrated part of Patrick Mahomes' game is that ability to get those 10, 15, 20-yard runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if they have to blitz, that starts putting pressure on other areas. And it's just like a good foundation in a dam or anything like that. It's designed to make you flow, in this case, water to flow one direction, right? If something blocks that and the water starts flowing another direction, that's when you could have a fatal, a fatal fault. That 60-yard touchdown play. If Philly can stay in pace, I think they have such a better chance to win because just that defense, if they give that offense what they want, say what you want, dude. Saquon's a hard guy to bundle up all game. And if you're going to bundle, because to me, it comes down to this, right? Both teams can force each other to play the way they want on defense. We can agree both defenses are good. They can force a team to play. The problem I have is I think it's harder for Kansas City to win if they play the way Philly wants them to than it is for Philly to win if Kansas City gets Philly to play them the way they want to. Because I just feel like Philly has more weapons on offense that can exploit the slightest mismatch. Where I think Kansas City, they more so need you to put yourself at a bad position, take advantage, right? That's my personal feel on it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And that is one of the staples of Kansas City. That's what makes you they're consistently so strong at those fundamentals like that you mentioned earlier. That is their strength. They'll wait for a crack from somebody else, and they will seep their way in there, freeze, and blow it wide open.
Every pothole on your route to work, Gingy knows exactly what you're talking about.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I got on the brain, Donkey. These roads are chunked up out there, all right? This winter has been rough.
Laskers.
I agree with
Thoughts on
Gingy.
the way this goes?
I agree with Gingy. This winter's been rough.
From December 1st on, particularly. From my
Dude, that's when my winter
Donkey.
got nice.
No.
Yeah, it is.
This past week where
I
we
had
some
more
freezing
rain in
it was
January
good.
than snow. So
Just like the Steelers' downfall, ours started at Thanksgiving and we haven't looked back since.
this whole episode just went.
We're
full
off the
circle.
rails.
It went full circle. There's
Yeah.
two points here I want to talk about. The coaching thing, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, over there. On the other side, you have, why the heck do I always forget the Philadelphia Eagles coach's name?
Nick Sirianni.
There we go. You got Nick Sirianni the other side. I mean, good coach. There's been talk that the Eagles want to move on from him for some reason because he only takes them to Super Bowls. I mean, what a terrible thing to have.
No, you know, they did the same. They did the same thing with Andy Reid.
Yeah, but Andy, okay, that was a lot longer of a time frame. That's like the Steelers with Mike Tomlin time frame. Just clarify here, not
but
4
hey,
years.
They took him to the He took him to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, like what was his last Super Bowl appearance? Like 8 years before they got rid of him. So they kept him for a long, long time. And sometimes you just gotta move on to greener pastures when you've been there a long time. But I mean, Sirianni, pretty solid coach. I mean, there's a lot of things there. But Andy Reid clearly been there, done that, won a bunch. Coaching, does that play a huge factor? And part two to it, before I let you go first, Laskers, are we underplaying the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts as the biggest influential thing of this game? I mean, Ben Johnson talked about it. New Age analytics show you the number one determinant now in terms of winning or losing. The most likely determinant is quarterback play. It's no longer turnover margin. It's quarterback play. Ben Johnson's press conference into Chicago shows exactly why the Steelers are stuck in the Stone Age. But are we underplaying in this game the importance of quarterback play? And is the gap between Patty Mahomes and Jalen Hurts as big as we make it out to be? Laskers.
So Sirianni's only been there for 4 years, just so you know.
That's what I said.
I didn't pay attention, but I mean, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. I think we are underplaying the quarterback play. I think the quarterback play is going to come in as a factor of who wins this game. Who does better is going to make the difference in this game.
Gingy, same to you.
We are appropriately addressing the quarterback play unless you talk about Jalen blowing it. We haven't talked really about the potential for Jalen really blowing it, making poor decisions. We've talked about all of that potential, wide receivers, yada, yada, yada. Potential to blow it, too. A lot more potential for him than I see the potential for Patrick Mahomes blowing it.
That's fair. All right, this is your guys' chance. Break down how you see this game going. Break down who's going to be the X factor, and give me a score and a Super Bowl champion. You want to flip a coin to see who goes first, or someone just want to take it?
I don't mind it. I'll take it. I'm ready to go with this one.
Get it.
Very in a little bit of foreshadowing from what you saw earlier, right? When I talked about, what I would do if I was potentially staging this, right? But what I want to say in terms of the final score, 34-31, Philadelphia Eagles at the last minute. Dramatic heroics, X Factor, being Jalen Hurts. I think we've spent a lot of time talking about right now the running game around Saquon Barkley. I think that the core of the running game, I think the Chiefs are going to eliminate that or try to eliminate that. And I think the core of the running game is going to revolve around Jalen Hurts. Some big plays from him with his legs this game. Maybe a big third down, 3rd and 10 plus that you see Jalen pick up in a monumental moment in the biggest game of the season. I think that's how it's going to go, Donkey.
Nice. I can respect that. Laskers.
So I only heard the tail end of Gingy's thing because my mic decided it didn't want to communicate anymore. Anyhow, my prediction is Philadelphia Eagles 28, and I gotta do the math, so give me a minute.
I thought he was going to say, I have to remember who they're playing.
No, the Chiefs, 25. They're gonna get a safety somehow. Don't ask me how, but anyhow.
It was a safety. That's fair.
Yep. And my X factor is Darius Slay Jr. with 1 interception that he somehow returns for a touchdown.
Nice. All right, I could dig that. By the way, sir, everybody who's listening, clearly the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl because we're all about to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. So just putting it out there, clearly Chiefs going to win the Super Bowl. I also like Philadelphia. I like them winning this a little more, not as close as people are going to think. I think it's going to be 30-20 Philadelphia. I think the X factor is a two-way packed up the middle of Philly. I think that's Jalen Carter dominating the line of scrimmage, and I think that's Zach Bond shutting down Travis Kelce. I think that's the most important thing. I think that lets Philly do what Philly wants to do, try to slowly control the clock. I think Philly gets a little bit of the lead. Then Kansas City has to be more aggressive, and I think you're going to see Devontae Smith go over the top at some point. That's really how I feel is going to be the break open play of the Super Bowl. Or maybe a trick play in there too. I don't know. Maybe you see Saquon throw the football. I'm not sure which way I want to go yet. Just a pure pass to Smith over the top, or a little trickery with Saquon throwing the football. But there we go. All three on the Philadelphia train, I guess. Oh, that's the wrong side of the state, fellas. That's all I have to say.
It definitely is.
Wrong side of the state.
It 100% is the wrong side of the state.
Anyone have any Steelers stories or a shout out they want to give? Laskers, Gingy.
I got nothing for a shout out.
Gingy. Gingy fell asleep.
Come on, I'm here. I got the there's plenty of Steelers stories out there, right? I got no shout outs, but like I'm hearing all Kirk Cousins this season. Anybody?
No, dude. If we're signing a washed-up veteran, it has to be a dude who's willing to throw the ball.
Hey,
that's Aaron Rodgers or Jameis Winston. Okay, someone that'll make Mike Tomlin's head explode.
You said that we were going to have another old, dusty veteran trying to redeem
Aaron Rodgers,
himself in
man, because he'll
Pittsburgh.
say chuck it, F it, no matter what, man.
And he won't listen to Tomlin, so that's
that'd
be
fun. That would be fun as hell to see. Don't
no
you bring
shout
that
out, but
juju up here.
There's going to be plenty of Steelers stories, though.
I do have a shout out, Gingy. It has to be James Harrison, man. Calling the Steelers essentially soft, making fun of what the new standard is, and almost getting in a fight with Chad Ojocinco on the set of a podcast all in a week, man. Dude, James Harrison deserves every bit of credit he's getting because he's making sure you remember his name, much like anybody who ever got hit by him, right? I love it. I'm here for it. I gotta let you know I'm the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey. Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey Ginger, where you get this awesome content. We will be nonsensical. I'm really sad that no one wanted to talk about the Pro Bowl. Minka had a pick 6 in a Pro Bowl, and no one said anything. Laskers, I'm done.
Didn't he have 2 picks? You know, in the no fun game where he can't even get he only had 1 pick in the regular season. Anyhow, I'm the Laskers everywhere. Gingy to you.
Come on, man. Who even watched a Pro Bowl? This is Mutant Gingy hanging out. It is Super Bowl weekend.
I saw it on the Twitter.
Get your 7-layer dips. Get your nachos. Get your cold beverages, folks. Put the beverages on ice. Put the towels on ice for just a week. All right. But remember, we'll be here for you with nonsensical folks. Wave them if you got them. Here we go, Steelers.